Hey guys, welcome to another how-to video with Matt. Today we're going to be changing out the oil in this 2005 Dodge Dakota. This is the V6 3.7 guys, so we're only going to need 5 quarts versus the V8 that would require about 6 quarts. So let's go ahead and get started and show you what you're going to need. So the first thing that you're going to need to get is 5 quarts of your choice of oil, but I highly recommend going with 5W30 because that's what the manufacturer recommends for Dodge. And you need to get yourself a new oil filter, guys. And this right here is the Purolator and is part number PL20195 for anybody that needs that part number out there, guys. But I got this up at our local parts store, I think around 25 bucks for the combination right there. So you can look for those deals in the sales paper, get you good filters, good oil deals. So always check out your deals first, guys. Alright, so the only tools that you're going to need to do this, guys, is you need to get yourself a oil filter wrench. You need to get yourself a 13mm socket or wrench, but I like using sockets. And then you need to get yourself an oil catch pan, just like this one, or you can use a bucket. You will also need a funnel. And last, I always recommend to either have some rags or shop towels lying around for easy cleanup, guys, because it can be messy. Alright, so when changing my oil out, guys, the first thing I want to do is I want to get my engine warm. I don't want to get it so hot, you know, it's going to scald me whenever I turn the wrench. So I just want to let the engine run for about 15 minutes. And if you're going to do it as soon as you get back from the parts store, your engine should be warm enough. All you want is that oil to be warm so it just flows out nice and smooth. So I'm going to start my truck, let it run for about 15 minutes. Then we're going to be ready to go to the next step. Alright guys, so here we are under the truck right here, guys. So here is the oil plug right here. As you can see, that is the 13mm bolt right there that we need to take out with our wrench or socket right here, guys. So we can just get that on there just like that. Alright, but before you open that, what you need to do is take your spill pan and get that right under there so that the middle of your hole, the little drain hole, is lined up with the middle here, because it's going to come out fast and it's going to pour. So you want to be able to kind of move it around, but always start it in the center and you can't go wrong, guys. So what we're going to do now is take our 13mm socket and we are going to crack open the oil crankcase from up here and get that on there. And it might be tight, it might not be, guys. Like that right there is not too tight, like it's already loose, so don't even need the wrench anymore. I can just take the plug right on out and screw it out. Like I said, you need to make sure you got your catch pan, because it's going to come out, think about it, it's warm oil, it's going to come out and pour. Alright, so here it comes. And there's the oil, and you see how I was able to catch it all right here in the pan. So what we're going to do is let that drain for about 15 minutes, guys. I like to let it drain good. Some people just hurry up and do it. Like as soon as it stops, they just plug it and go. And if you're in a hurry, I can understand that, but I'm not in a hurry. It's the weekend here at my house and not going anywhere or anything anytime soon. So I'm going to let this stuff drain for a good minute before I put the plug back in, guys. Alright, so while that's draining, right, you need to come up here, open up your engine bay right here. You need to find where you would fill your oil up at, right, guys? And go ahead and take that cap off right there, guys. So that's going to let the oil flow much faster. So make sure you take the top of your oil cap off. Alright guys, so once your oil has almost finished draining, what you can do is look for your plug. Now that all the oil's drained down in the container, your plug will be left still on the top. Go ahead and check that plug right there for any metal debris or anything. And this is how I haven't even wiped this yet, guys. So that's a good sign that there's no loose metal all inside of my oil and all that floating around. So good sign right there. So nothing to really wipe off, but if you got a lot of metal shavings and stuff, you want to go ahead and clean all that off. Then you want to just take some oil and rub it onto your threads right there, guys, and then you can go ahead and put it back in place and just hand tighten it down until it stops. You always want to hand tighten stuff like this when you're working on it, guys. You don't want to cross thread anything important like that. So that right there is almost cinched down. So now I can take my socket and tighten that right back up. And you don't want to over tighten this, guys. Like, you just want to give it nice and snug, and you can pull out the spec books and use a torque wrench if you want to and all that, guys. But my experience, you just need to get it nice and snug and not too much more, because you don't want to get it so tight in the future you can't get it off. So once you get that on, you can just take you some shop rags, clean the area up right there, guys. Get all the oil off right in around there, and then any oil that might have dripped onto your bar right here, you can go ahead and clean that up right there. All right, so let's go ahead and get everything cleaned up down here, and then we're going to go to the oil filter. Alright, guys, so here we are at the front on the other side of our chassis right here, guys, and here is the oil filter. Right, so some cases you might need an oil wrench to crack that right there, and some cases you might not. So I'm just going to go ahead and untighten mine, because I changed the oil last time, guys, and I put oil around the seals. Like, every time when you replace an oil filter, you want to put oil around the seal. So that gets it for just easy hand loosening. I didn't even need the wrench, guys. So let's go ahead and get this unscrewed. I can see the oil's already coming down. That keeps me to keep my hands out the way. So here we go. It's almost off. Alright, filter is off. See how clean that was, instead of it just pouring and going sloppy everywhere, guys. So we're just going to stick this right into the pan upside down so the filter can drain out. So what we're going to do now is just let that drip for a little bit, guys, and soon it'll come down the little rail. We'll clean it off out the area right there. So we'll get our oil filter ready to go, and I'll show you how to do that. Here is our new oil filter that we're going to be putting on the truck today. This is a Purolator 1, and look at that. It looks really cool. I like that. It's pretty custom looking. Alright, but see, this is what we're talking about. These dry seals. You never want to install an oil filter with just dry seals, because it can seize up, guys, and be real hard to get off sometimes. So what I do is I just take some of the oil that's still in top of the pan right here, or even from the filter, and you just want to take some oil and rub that around the rim right there, guys. And it's super easy to do. Just go ahead and rub it all in there, right? Like, I like to go ahead and just soak it. Get everything, even the threads, guys. Like, I want the threads lubed up from when we put it on. Like I said, this is all just oil coming from the recycled oil that we got out of our engine already, guys. So yeah, we just want to soak those seals nice and good, just like that. Give it just a little bit more. Alright, so we're going to do the exact opposite. Where we loosened it like this, we're going to stick it on, make sure we get the threads on nice and good and snug. Let me show you guys up closer up here. So let's go ahead and get this on. It might take you a second to find the right threads as you're turning it. So here we go. Alright, see, it's on. You just gotta keep turning it till it gets snug enough where you can let go. Like, I can let go and you see how it's walked, but it's on there the way it's supposed to be. So let's go ahead and just keep tightening it. Alright, so you're starting to get snug, and you just want to keep going just with your hand. You don't want to use the oil wrench on this to crank it down, because then it's going to be impossible to get off in the future. You just want to go and make sure it's nice and hand snug, just like that. That's perfect, guys. Alright, so our filter is now on, so now it's time to fill the oil up. Alright, guys, so we're now back up to the top of the vehicle in the engine bay, and we have our funnel inserted into our oil filler right there, guys. And what's cool about our trucks also is it's a super wide funnel, basically, that you can just pour. Like, if you need to add some oil, I get it, older engines burn oil, but if you need to add some oil, you don't really have to keep a funnel in your truck, because it basically has one on there basically already. But if you're using the 5-quart bucket like I am, you might want to use a funnel just to get rid of most of it right there, guys. So we're just going to fill up our oil real fast. Alright, now you see why I use this wide funnel that I use, because it does it in no time, guys. Instead of going through a little skinny tube and taking forever, you can just pretty much dump that whole thing that fast, guys. So alright, so I like to get all the little drips and drops, every little drop of oil inside my engine. So I'll just shake this for a few seconds and get down to the last drop. Then we'll be ready to put our top back on. So once you've got all your oil poured into your filler right here, you just take your cap right here, guys, and go ahead and place that back on there. Make sure you get it nice and snug. And there you go, guys. That is it. You can shut your hood and start your engine, and always want to check it to make sure you don't have anything leaking underneath, guys. But that is the basics of changing your oil in these Dodge trucks right here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace.